Welcome back. So this is the last of the 5 talks that I created about technology and how it can enhance your life. Once again, there are extensive notes which you can download from the AvPals website, which is on your screen right now, or just type in Avalon Computer Pals into your search engine and navigate to revisit a seminar. There you'll find 5 ways technology can help you get out in the course notes. And also, as always, to make it easier for you, I've highlighted the important bits in the notes so that you don't have to trawl through every word to get names of stuff that we've talked about. There are lots of links to places we'll talk about, and of course you can re-watch the video of all our presentations that we do on AvPals whenever you want, even at 3 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep. So in case you missed any of my previous talks, here's what we covered. Number 1 was called Get Smart, and it was about apps and programs that can help you stay in shape and informed. Number 2, called Get Smarter, highlighted brain health. We discussed lots of resources you can use to sharpen your response time, pointing you to training courses you can do online, and lots more. Then the next one was discussing how to get help, where we explored ways you can make technology you probably already own work for you. Everything from ordering your dinner to seeing who's at the door from your bed. So a few weeks back, we investigated how to get social. We discussed some online and real world options, helping you with suggestions as to how to keep occupied along with other people not in the same room as you. Today, we get out. And I was going to show you lots of ways to arrange your life so that you can get out and about in many different ways, with and without a car of your own. But I had to think outside of the box-shaped vehicle and come up with some different ideas, as you'll see. So we will take a look at a few real world transport options. And because of the ongoing COVID-19 situation, I expanded the horizons for getting out, and it transpires that one of the safest ways to get out is to get out of your mind instead of your house. So firstly, we'll take a peek at 5 ways to use your smartphone to order or book transport. I'll talk about taxis, ride sharing, car sharing, on-demand transport, and community transport. Next, I'll encourage you to head overseas to look at some museums and art galleries that you may have been booked to visit in person right now, but we'll look at the virtual versions. And I'm proud to say there are more than a few links to the virtual journeys in the notes pages. Then we'll explore the new craze of slow travel. There are lots of online resources that can take you on a tram around Amsterdam in real time, or even travel in real time across Australia. Next, we'll be looking at podcasting, and I'll give you some examples of where to find the best ones and how to look for podcasts on your particular interests. And finally, just to, keep your enthusiasm up, we'll go through some technology that you may find useful once we are allowed out and to travel again. At least you can look for them online and explore the options. So, there's a new way to order transport, and it's in your hands. There are 5 ways that you can use, well, here are our 5 ways, should I say, that you can use your smartphone to order transport to come to you, or at least be parked nearby. It should be noted that ride-sharing services like Uber are not necessarily cheaper than taxis. So if price is important to you, check the differences before you contact them. For example, most ride-sharing services charge a waiting fee and have surcharges based on the time of day and other factors, whereas taxis tend to charge a flat fee. So if you have trouble getting out of the door when your transport arrives, perhaps a taxi would be a more suitable option. Now, if you haven't used a taxi for a while, here's a reminder of some of the services that operate in our area. Now, I picked the ones that have the highest ratings on Google, so that you can be reasonably sure that these ones, and I've got links, of course, to them in the to their phone numbers. I think I put their phone numbers mostly in the notes pages. So On Time Maxi Cab Sydney came up as Trumps as the most courteous and kindly people. And of course, they take wheelchairs. Infinite taxi cabs, silver taxi cab service, North Side shuttle, which would be hard to answer the phone for, I must say, and Manly Warringah cabs came up trumps for other customers. Now, taxi drivers are mostly wearing masks these days, and you can ask before you book what the company's cleaning regime is for passengers if you're concerned. It's because they all do it the same way. Now, ride sharing is basically similar to asking a mate for a lift, only instead of paying them in beer, you pay them with actual money. A direct competitor to taxis, ride sharing allows you to go to places without catching public transport or driving yourself. So ride sharing services work through apps, making it a very convenient way to book and track. I've provided the top 5 ride sharing services in the notes. You can't use a ride share service without a smartphone, so bear that in mind. It's not as easy to find out what the cleaning and mask wearing policies are for ride sharing services because bookings are done on an app and an autonomous person comes to you in their own car. Now, car sharing is yet another way that you can get about these days. Think of the savings. You don't have to pay insurance, registration, or third party. Also, no green slips for you. Or if you're paying all that money out every year and could use an extra $1 or $2, you can rent out your own car to others to drive. So here's how it works. You download an app or go online to sign. You register your car and then park it somewhere where people can access it. If you want to hire one yourself, the same thing applies. Download the app, select the car and the type and the dates, etc. And then you get sent a location and a code, and you point your phone at the code to unlock the nearest vehicle. So on-demand transport options are down to 1 here on the Northern Beaches, but it is a good service. You've probably seen the Kia Ride vans around. They started out just picking up people from near their homes and dropping them off at the nearest transport hub. However, during COVID-19, I've discovered that Kia Ride drivers are now dropping people off at Newport Coles, Woolworths Mona Vale, Warriewood Square, Eleanora Heights Pharmacy and IGA, Woolworths Narrabeen, and Mona Vale Hospital. So it's a much wider use of those vehicles than just taking you to the nearest transport hub. It's extremely useful. Last, but certainly not least, is community transport. EasyLink is a not-for-profit organization that utilizes the help of volunteers to get those without independent transport to their destinations, whether it's to a health or medical appointments, shopping, to visit the hairdressers, a social activity, or visiting a friend. You can call on the welcoming people at EasyLink here on the Northern Beaches. Even cheaper, but more limited services are offered by Community Connect in conjunction with the Northern Beaches Council. You need to meet their criteria to use the service, but it's worth checking out. So I discovered one more reason for avoiding catching the bus. So moving along like the bus, which is going faster than you. Now, if you're like me, and you would probably be overseas at this time of year, ... Anyway, since we can't get out, I thought I'd show you some different ways to view the a few of the virtual tours that museums, art galleries, and lots of other places around the world have put online for us to see. So what do you need to virtual travel the world? Easy. All you need is a TV, a laptop, a smartphone, or a tablet, and an internet connection. You don't need all of those devices, one of them, and an internet connection. You don't need a VR set, although if you have one, it's a bonus. So I started with art galleries. You can get up close and personal with the world's most famous art pieces without having to queue, buy tickets, or have some security guard telling you to step back or move on. We've all experienced that at some point, I'm sure. Museums have an amazing collection of stuff. And now you can take your time looking at objects in the most famous museums in the world. The bonus here is that you get to learn more than if you were actually there, because there are usually copious explanations and notes on the various websites. Then there are man-made wonders of the world that are on display to you without you having to climb 1,000 stairs, get pushed around by other tourists wanting just that view, or get pickpocketed as you gaze at the scenery. Natural wonders as virtual tours. The advantages are no more standing in the freezing or boiling weather at the mercy of the weather conditions. And you can also get a drink or go to the loo anytime you need to. And then there are the advantages of 24-hour live feeds that you can pop into at any time. Like, for example, if you have a favorite spot like Times Square in New York that you're missing, well, you can just pop in any time of day or night and see what they're doing there. Or take a look at the Eiffel Tower to see it twinkling in the night sky over Paris. Or you could watch people on a beach in the Netherlands, or visit koalas in a zoo anytime you want to. Now, I know there are also some endangered wildlife, like webcams for those, like eagles whose nests are able to be viewed 24/7. Just type it into Google and you'll be shown the way to spy on wildlife. In fact, may I say that you can watch until the cows come home. So I just wanted to give you a little sample of the virtual travel thing. Now, this one is a little bit different to the normal ones, but I just loved it. So I thought, while I was researching it, I found this very interesting. It's a virtual tour of the Mona Lisa. And I have to say that without the crowds and with the 3D modeling, I found it far more interesting than standing well back from the real thing in a gallery far, far away. I haven't tested this with Greg, and I probably should have, but Greg, perhaps you can let me know if you, put your hand up if you can hear this, okay? I'll just start it now.
That's fine, Saskia. Is there supposed to be sound? No sound coming here. No, I don't think the sound, Saskia, is you're just doing a demo.
Oh, yeah, it is, but just watch it anyway, it'll be fine. That was her husband. But Leonardo kept it. They're saying that it's much more than a portrait. It's a crowning achievement of a lifetime. So she's been a subject of unfounded speculation because they thought her hair was worn loose, but in actual fact it wasn't. She was too well known, important a lady for that. So she wore a cap and a little bit of loose hair. They also thought she was pregnant, but that's just because of the deterioration of the light, of the paint. And she's well dressed with very refined clothes, in keeping with her station as a wealthy lady. So he's painted it with a transparent look, which is very difficult. There you are. Perfection is not a detail. You could look this one up yourself. I've put a link in it. He used to always put clues to the name into the paintings. For this one means juniper, and the lady's name was Ginevra. No, she doesn't hold anything in her hands. And so it took a bit of doing to find out who she actually was. Now he's talking about her smile. Yes, and how he came upon that smile. He said it's because of the lady's husband. His surname is Giocondo, which means, yeah, all those things, happy, jovial. And his wife, of course, was going to be happy and jovial. It's also more than a clue about her identity. This is showing you the oil pigment. Yep, so, and he says there's a blurred outline around her eyes to make it look as if she's looking at you. And that's how they do that. I didn't know that. So he's showing how to make things lifelike. So showing other ways of, we all know those paintings. He says, watch closely now. It's worth watching this whole video, I have to say. So she's turning to welcome us to her loggia. There you are. That's what her background could have looked like. It's very cleverly done, all in 3D. And then he's talking about the background now and how it's a lifetime study of natural ways of painting, of capturing the background. Now, this is the most interesting, well, interesting bit, I think, is the end of this video. It's really cool. I'll leave you to watch it. I thought it was a very clever ending. There it comes. He says, I would love to fly over this make-believe landscape, wouldn't you? Well, we just did. It was lovely. So there you are. That's that was a little way to explore that particular genre of paintings. So it may be hard to believe, but slow travel, a form of documentary focused on seemingly mundane events, has grown massively in popularity in its native Norway since its creation in 2009. But it could also be just a ticket for would-be travelers currently stuck inside and feeling anxious. So what is the appeal of such shows? I have several friends who are really into it, and I asked why. Well, primarily it's about slowing down. You can watch these shows to enjoy their meditative qualities, allowing you to switch off, unwind, and escape for a few hours, a luxury that we could all enjoy in these testing times. And you can even have a snooze, and when you wake up, you haven't missed anything much. That's my experience of it. If you have a Netflix account, I'm sorry to say that you just missed out on the slow travel section that they used to have. It was taken off early this month. Sorry about that. So since the Norwegians invented slow travel, I've provided a link to the videos of their magnificent country. There's a video about a train trip from Bergen to Oslo through the snow. and a number of other ones, including one done at Christmas time. Now, if you love dogs, you can spend a couple of hours at a dog beach, watching poochers cavorting on the beach. I've been to that beach many times in Perth, so I actually don't need to use up bandwidth for this one. I can just access my memory. What about a bus trip around the Yorkshire countryside? There's a lovely video about this, and it's taken they've taken some drone footage as well to give you the overall view of the terrain. Of course, they're crossing the terrain, but only you can see the views above the bus, which is better than being inside the actual bus, isn't it, really? So if you're missing the hubbub of people in streets, why not just take a walk through Tokyo and enjoy the hustle and bustle as well as the lights of this vibrant city? And this one made me feel a little seasick, but if you're a sailor or even a wannabe sailor, then take a look at sailing a yacht to the island of Tobago slowly. So I wanted to give you an example of a slow travel video to look at, but they are all so long, it wasn't a feasible thing to do in a 20-minute presentation. So instead, I found a great joke for you. You have to read it slowly to get the real message. And by the way, the real message is the small writing at the bottom. It's fun, isn't it? All right, hope you managed to get that one. So now we're going to move on to podcasting. I don't know if you know what a podcast is, but just in case you don't, it's a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading onto a computer or a mobile device, typically available as a series. Generally, new installments can be received by subscribers automatically. The subjects are truly amazing and diverse. If you fancy philosophy or music, or probably knitting, although I haven't looked for that one, I must say, there'll be a podcast for you to listen to. The world of podcasting is one really great way to get out of feeling locked in. Of course, you can always go to the Northern Beaches Library Service and borrow audiobooks to listen to. But if you have a particular interest in subjects such as current affairs or anti-current affairs or in-depth medical information, finding the podcasts by the people you admire is a wonderful way to expand your horizons. So I've picked 5 platforms where you can start your seeking. The first one is the ABC Radio. They have podcasts about the news and more about how to get away from the news. It's a truly rich resource to explore, and even if you never look any further, you're bound to find something of interest on our ABC, and we're paying for it anyway, so why not? Podcasts on Spotify is another way of looking for what you're interested in, and they will never run dry. If you know Spotify and you already use it to play your kind of music, it shouldn't be much of a stretch to find the podcasts on any subjects of interest there. The world's most popular podcasts. I put a link to this in the notes because what is of interest to lots and lots of other people may well be of interest to you. I don't know. Then I went for Aussie podcasts. They're everywhere. And we have some very, very intelligent and talented and amusing poddies, as Philip Adams calls them. The links in the notes take you to some very good ones, but please feel free to explore the internet and find some for yourself as well. Then number 5, I thought, well, we all need a laugh sometimes, and that's why I picked funny podcasts as the final genre to bring to your attention. I know that for myself, there's a lot of humor that I don't understand and in fact that I don't like. But there are always people who know how to tickle almost anyone's funny bones, and that's the ones you want to look for yourself. So I found this joke, which isn't particularly funny, ha, but it's certainly funny, how true. So moving along to the last bit, which is the bit I had the most fun with, because I just love gadgets. I don't know why. I don't often own them, but I do like looking at them. So if you're like me, here's the thing you can do. So I didn't want to give up travel altogether. So this part is what I would call the hopeful section, for when we finally get to wandering the country and the world again. And here's some of the technologies that will be making traveling more convenient, possibly for you, if you need the technology to take technology with you. There are lots and lots of devices on the market, but for traveling, it's better to look for the Wi-Fi extenders, wireless hotspot, portable modem, portable Wi-Fi, car router hotspot, USB from for home and for cars with the Wi-Fi extenders, and small ones to take with you, and a small one that you can take with you to have as many functions as possible. So there's your homework, to look for the smallest possible thing that does the most possible stuff. The second thing that I chose is a multifunction universal plug adapter. Universal international power adapter with 3 USB ports and Type-C wall charger. Now I chose this one because it uses worldwide AC power plug for multinational travel to the UK, EU, Europe, and over 200 countries, and because it's gorgeous green, and because I own one and it's fantastic. The next thing I suggest, and actually this was my husband's suggestion, I have to say, noise cancelling headphones. They're a must if you're in a plane. And well, they are not necessarily a must, but it's because you don't want to have to accept the uncomfortable cheap headphones that the staff give you. Most headphone makes will plug into the seat socket, but if in doubt, check before you buy. Imagine that you can cancel out that kid screaming in the seat behind you, and you're not at such risk of picking up anything nasty off the headphones that the airline provides for you, because you don't know how they clean them. So then I picked this weatherproof phone case because it's useful. Sure, it's low tech, but sometimes that's important. In the links pages, there are hundreds of high-tech items, like the world's smallest iron, which I really like because it's so tiny, a tiny vacuum to suck the air out of your packing bags. But the good old weatherproof phone case was the one I chose because it's good enough for me. Now, if you like reading, but you don't want to lug a couple of extra kilos with you, then think about getting an e-reader. I personally own a Kobo because it doesn't tie you to Amazon, and that it accepts more book formats, so you have a wider range of places to pick from. And it's waterproof, so you can read in the pool or the bath. So Kindle has recently come out with a waterproof version as well, so you can take your pick and read out in the rain if you want to. So when it comes to technical gadgets and technical equipment, with the exception of the waterproof phone case, you will need some electricity of some sort. You can't go hiking to the back of Beyond and expect to use your high-tech gadgets, but heck, you can try. Just take a look at them, even if you don't have any travel plans. So I thought this was a bit unreasonable. That's why I liked it. So that's the end of the presentation, and don't forget, if you want to see it again or get the notes, go to the AvPals website and download the information I've just given you. If you have any questions, you can just put your hand up, just like in school, and we can chat once we've unmuted the microphone. So I shall stop sharing my screen now and hand over to Greg to do all the technical stuff. Thank you, Greg.
Saskia, before I unmute you all, that was just an amazing presentation. And I've got to say, I really can't wait to go and look at Mona Lisa again. That was just mind-blowing.
It is, and it's obviously longer than I cut it short to fit it in there, but it is wonderful to go and look at, yes.
Right.
I just see one question. Press muting.
So there we are. So welcome back, everybody.
So who wants to ask the first question?
Yes.
No one.
No one. Okay.
Travel.
Wasn't that Mona Lisa thing amazing?
What did you want to ask her?
Was in particular.
I've used the Kia ride several times, and it's
Yeah.
worth mentioning that it's half price for seniors, only $1.55 per ride.
Yes.
Well worth it.
Yeah, well worth it. Exactly. You do get. I forgot to mention that you can get a discount on them. Yes, Sherry.
The slow travel, Saskia, do you have to go into individual sites? Like if we were going, like we're supposed to be now, doing a railway trip through Switzerland, would we just type that in, or do we have to go into
well, it depends if there is one. I know there's that one going through the snow in from Bergen, or the other way around. But yes, you can. You just type in slow travel. Well, in fact, I've given you a link to that one.
Okay.
So you can watch that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Can we speak about the travel?
Yes, Helen.
Yes, Saskia, I'm always confused about paying for podcasts because, for example, with Spotify, they're always giving you a month offer or whatever. I never know which ones we should be paying for or which one we should be trying and then maybe paying for it. And then how do we pay for them?
I think that Greg and Paul would agree with me when I say that the best way to do that is to have a PayPal account, because if you have a PayPal account, you're not giving out your credit card over the internet. And if you want to pay to hear a specific person speaking or a specific subject, then it is worth it, and it doesn't cost very much.
Is that credit you put in there?
No, you don't have to. You can just link it to your credit card through PayPal, and then PayPal takes the money out of your credit card. But and that's why it's so safe, because it's kind of like a block in front of your bank account. But if you want to do it a different way, and even safer way, but I don't know whether you can pay for it that way. Oh, I'm not sure about podcasts. One of those store cards which gives you credit, but I think you can only get that on. No, I don't think that would work. I'm not sure. Do you know, Paul or Greg? Store cards, whether they can pay for something on Spotify?
I don't think you can pay with debit cards because, well, you might be able to pay Spotify with a debit card, but some don't allow you to, for example, pay a deposit because you might not have any money when the time comes.
Account, yeah.
So how do you set up the account?
Go to Spotify. You go ahead. You go ahead and explain.
No, you explain it, because I only use the free version.
Right. Well, just a suggestion. Firstly, I actually pay for Spotify, but I share my account with 5 family members, and that costs me $17.99 a month. And the other 5, they all take advantage of that, but they pay for the Netflix, they pay for the Amazon Prime, they pay for all this, and they share that with me. So I end up getting a bit of everybody. But apart from that, to register, you just go to spotify.com, say you want to join up, you follow it through, and then they will say, right, how are you going to pay for this? And you give them your credit card number. I'm not sure whether they accept PayPal or not. I really can't.
Some don't.
But the real advantage of PayPal, the number one thing is you're only giving your credit card details to one organisation, not to many.
Right, so with PayPal, you would go into PayPal site and set up your account.
The first time, yes, you go to pay. I absolutely recommend that to everybody anyway.
Me too.
You go into PayPal, give them your credit card details and probably also your bank details. You don't have to give them your bank details, but it's good to have both in there.
And if you don't like that idea, then what you can do is put some money, like say $50 or something, into PayPal and use that money to pay for everything. Back of what you spend. Yes, Glenda.
Can I say something?
Yes, of course you can.
I have a separate card, because I have a main card that I have all my direct debits out of, and I never use that. If I'm buying anything online or doing anything that I'm not 100% sure of, I've got this separate Visa card, and I just use that. So if anybody gets into that, they're not going to do anything.
Very sensible. Very sensible. Yeah, that's great.
Right. You know,
Sorry, who was it? Sorry.
Sherry.
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 who?
Sorry.
Just on that line about the credit card and the small amount, because we used to travel with work all the time, I found it better to have the limit that you could claim on your credit card or could withdraw on your credit card. So we kept our limit very low until perhaps we were going to go and buy, I don't know, TV or say, and then I'd just change it on the internet.
That's true.
Would be that much higher, but then I would take it back right down to about $1,500.
Yes, but the trouble with that is that once your number, your credit card number gets out there, it's hard to control. So it's yes, I do that too if necessary, but I think it's a better idea to have a separate one, or to have PayPal in the middle.
Yeah, PayPal is good.
You want to ask a question?
I just want to comment that I have a MasterCard which is not linked to a bank account. So nobody can get into my bank accounts through it. It was a free one with Virgin. It's now Westpac, but I don't know if they're still available.
It's pretty common because I use a credit card provided by a non-bank. In my case, I use Citibank, who don't have any branches and don't have regular bank accounts. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Jenny, did you want to ask something?
With PayPal, if there was a problem with the transaction, you know, with the MasterCard, you just ring and they will, you know, they'll sort it out. With PayPal, would they sort out if there was a problem?
They have a dispute section where you can say, I didn't get the goods or I didn't pay for, and yeah, they do.
They do, yes.
Yes. Ilse, did you have your hand up?
I have PayPal because I sell a small publication overseas, small music book. And so I've always got a credit balance in there. But the other day I had to buy for my son's, I bought a small air conditioning unit and the firm had PayPal on, which was very quick, just a Newport firm. And I also find that a lot of the charities now have PayPal.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to put all your credit card in, but I didn't get some goods from last year, something small for $30, and I found a dispute. I haven't got it back. I can't be bothered. Goods didn't arrive from the States. They kept saying, yes, it's been sent, and it was something very small, and I got fed up going through the dispute thing over and over again. But otherwise, I find it very good. And also, as I say, the charities and anything, if there's a PayPal option, because I always have a balance in there, credit balance, it's very good. It's much good.
Okay.
Annette, did you have a question? Yes, Annette.
Not so much a question, but again, I'm with Saskia. I only use the free ones. But this morning in the Herald, there was an article about a new Scam Watch podcast that they've done using the people from Checkout. And it's quite interesting. It's called This Is Not Your Life. And if you just...
That's a good one.
Yeah. If you just put that into Google, it'll bring you up the podcast. And apparently they've made 5 of them. I've only watched one so far, but it's entertaining and it's terrifying.
Okay. Thank you for that. Excellent.
This is not your life.
That one you will have to write down, everyone, if you want to.